We can twirl up the screen mat once we've corrected it to taste. And now we can see that there's an inside mask and an outside mask inside this plugin. What this will allow us to do is change a mask shape and define an inside our mask or outside our mask to isolate for keying. We'll skip those and move directly down to our foreground correction and our edge color correction. By twirling open these parameters, you'll see that they're turned off by default. Both of these are very powerful color correction tools inside the keyer. By enabling it, we're going to not only turn on our ability to color correct the foreground image, but we're also going to add another layer of processing time to this effect. So if you don't need to specifically color correct the image, I wouldn't have this turned on. But if you do need to color correct it, we do have the tools to change the saturation, the contrast, the brightness, and the color suppression here, rather than changing our color suppression on our spill, which is located inside our screen mat here at the bottom. If we close this, then take a look at the color suppression inside this tool, we can now suppress a certain color based on the red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, or yellow values. If we suppress the green, we can see that some of the green tint, not in the mat but in the image itself, has been removed. Under color balancing, by looking at the color balance values, we can actually modify the hue based on colors that we select in this color wheel. As we modify it, we can see the color changing based on our color balance selection. And you probably don't want to push it too far beyond white unless you're trying to go for a specific look. I'll move this closer back to white so he doesn't look so much like a Martian. But as we move it away from green and more into the reds, we see we get a warmer look. You can move it to the blue range for perhaps a more cooler look to the entire environment. If you want to keep the selection but don't want to apply the effect, rather than turning off the entire keyer, we can turn off the foreground color correction by disabling it by simply clicking on the checkbox. We'll twirl this up and take a look at our edge color correction. Here, the edge color correction works very similar. By enabling it, we get not only our color suppression, but our color balance. In edge color correction, instead of working on the foreground image, they'll work on the edge of our mat. Here we can define the hardness and the softness, the growing of the boundary of our mat, the saturation of the color that we use, and the contrast of the edge itself. Again, if you don't need to use edge color correction to create a more smooth composition on the edge of your mask, leave this turned off for now.